Judge Engoron, yes, Judge Engoron did not rule on all the charges against Donald Trump in his initial judgment.
So his initial judgment had a trial.
So the trial that we talked about,
Gas is closing in.
we agreed that the trial happened in his initial judgment before the trial started.
I did not.
Judge Engoron found Donald Trump liable for fraud.
So
but not
before
all
the
fraud that
trial
was being-
started,
okay, be quiet,
Judge
be quiet,
Engoron found him liable of fraud, right?
So before the trial started, Judge Engoron found Trump liable for some of the fraud. When the trial actually happened,
So he
it wasn't
found
just
him
that.
liable for fraud.
There was also other fraud charges he worked out.
So you're agreeing that I was right, that Judge Engoron found him liable.
No. Your claim is that there was no trial for determination of fraud. But in his initial judgment, Judge Engoron found that Trump had committed fraud, but he didn't rule on all of the fraud charges. So the trial that we're in question did still include unproven charges yet.
Did he rule with or without a trial on anything?
He ruled on some of the charges initially with the evidence that the trial in front of Judge Engoron also included unproven charges.
I'm
yet.
really trying to find common ground with you. Did he
No,
rule on any charges without a trial?
There's no common ground here. This is just fact, right? This is just fact. Right? So Judge Engoron,
Made a
one
ruling.
more time. Maybe I'll say it extra slow just for you. Judge
don't have to.
Engoron found that Donald Trump committed fraud before
Without a
the
trial.
actual trial began. Those were only some
Without a trial.
of the charges. But in the actual trial, there were more unproven charges that Judge ruled on. So that there was a misconception that the trial was only for damages. That is not true, okay? Now, I'm glad we settled this. Are we on the same page now?
Yeah, we're on the same
Okay,
page.
great.
There was no
Now
trial.
my
in the initial
final
ruling.
claim. No. So you're living in fantasy land still.
No,
with the
you just
unicorns
said
and
that.
all this
I'm
stuff.
agreeing with you.
My final point on this, and we can talk about something else if you want. My final point on this is that Donald Trump was found liable for fraud. He's going to lose on appeal, and I can't wait to remember folks like you when he does. And then he's going to be found guilty in his criminal trials, and justice will be served. I can't wait.
Can you explain why he will lose on appeals at least? Will you at least give me that?
Those appeals happen. That is the basis for
Okay. Which criminal trial did you disagree with? You want to start? Which one do you want to start? Georgia or New York?
Oh,
We'll do Georgia. That's the fun one.
Let's do the classified document case. That's what
I think you and I would disagree on most everything.
Gas is closing in. Relocating the safe zone.
Plethora of stuff.
like what? Why do you think
I
he's
don't know,
not going to
like-
be found guilty? Do you think-
Fire sale is active. Buy station prices are adjusted.
President, former president would be found guilty.
Why?
Why? I mean, if Jackson gets a conviction, let's just hypothetically say he gets it. He gets a conviction on the obstruction of justice and all that other stuff. He is going to open a Pandora's box of issues for every other politician that keeps classified documents.
Oh, this is so funny. This is good. Why?
It's not-
Why would
I mean,
why would
that's-
why would a Pandora box be open?
Do you think that people don't keep classified documents when they
Do
leave
you
office?
know how the statute is written?
Yeah.
Okay, so how's it written?
It's pretty clear. Which one do you want to talk about? PRA or NARA? Which
That's like when it comes to like the building of national defense
You got gas moving in.
that have to be met for someone to be like guilty of said crime.
Well, the problem is who's that someone? That's the
Okay,
real
well
crux
let me
of the
ask.
argument.
Maybe I'll
Black site secure. Good work.
That's a very
what does
easy
the
question.
government have to do when they're prosecuting?
Again, that's the problem. That's the entire crux of the argument. Is who is the someone?
Yeah, because all Americans are treated equally under the law, so I don't have to like specify, right?
Correct. All Americans are treated equally, except
Exactly.
there are specific instances where presidents and vice presidents are treated differently.
No, not once they leave office. So
Fire sale's done. Prices are back to normal.
Cannon ruled differently.
I mean, she had very serious doubts about them backdating these charges to January 21st. In fact, she said something along the lines of,
She dismissed all. She didn't dismiss all the charges that Donald Trump was asking.
well, we don't know that yet. She
We do know
denied
that.
one
We
of
voted on
his
that the other
motions.
day.
Well, she's denied one of his motions.
No. She denied Donald Trump's request to dismiss the charges. No, not the other
She
day.
had two motions. As of Friday, she denied one motion and
Which
still has
was?
another motion pending.
What was the motion?
His first motion was denying it on the basis that it was unconstitutional.
Yeah, so she declined to dismiss the charges, right? Done. So the charges are going forward.
He still has the malicious
But anyway, get back to
He
what
still
you
has the
were
malicious
saying about earlier.
prosecution and arbitrary
Wait, get back to what we were
conversions.
saying earlier. Let's talk about the conditions of house arrest before we go deeper with this. When I'm asking, what does the government have to prove for someone to be guilty of obtaining actual defense information?
They have to prove intent, willfulness, and that they actually had the actual knowledge that they had the document.
Okay, good. Okay, glad we got there. Okay? Fantastic. So with Donald Trump, there's obvious intent, willful retention, and knowledge that he had classified documents. So why do you think he's not going to be found guilty?
Because of his actions. He was the Senate President of the United States.
And he had those documents out of his pocket, said he
His
doesn't.
claim is that he either declassified them, that they were his personal records, which are two pretty good arguments.
Gas is inbound, marking a new safe zone.
Wait, this is actually so cool.
All stations, a jailbreak is active.
Wait, this is so fast.
Y qué más perfecto que se suba con nosotros.
Why would that argument fail? Because he's on audio admitting that he still has classified documents.
That was Biden.
No, he's not.
Yes, he is.
No, he's not.
Yes, Robert Hurt.
Wait, actually, when we talk about Biden in a second, we'll be able to talk about Biden. Donald Trump is literally on audio admitting that he classified documents. So where's this whole declassification?
He's not. He is on audio saying
Heads up, jailbreak is active.
it's classified. And they thought it was so funny because they had this. They were talking about Mark Meadows' book. He didn't say.
No, they were
"Oh,
not
I found
talking
this
about Mark
classified
Meadows' book.
document."
You're lying. You're just openly
I'm not
lying.
lying.
This is
I'm
disgraceful.
openly lying.
You're
That's what-
actually lying. They were not talking about Mark Meadows' book. Donald Trump openly acknowledged on audio that he had classified documents.
Gas is closing in.
And I could have declassified it, but now I can't. This is still
To
like
who?
secret.
But who is he talking
Galaxy.
to?
He said this is secret. This is
Harry,
still
who is he
highly
talking to?
confidential. Doesn't matter.
It was, no, it does matter because you said it was for Mark Meadows' book. So who was he talking to?
It
Eric?
doesn't matter. It's on audio.
An author of what?
Is, right?
An author of
so
what,
yeah,
Harry?
he's on audio admitting that he classified documents.
Author of what, Harry?
Well, what? Why does it matter? What does it matter what the author is?
Who just said it wasn't Mark Meadows'
Wait,
book
how
that they
does
were
the
talking
author?
about?
How does the person? We're trying to talk about intent. Tell me how who the author matters. Why does that matter?
Requesting close air! Target marked!
Copy that. Longbow 3-1 is on station. Strike inbound.
He said this is still like highly secret, highly confidential. See, as president, I completely classified it. Now I can't do it.
Yeah. He didn't say he had to. This is talking about what the. And
No.
you can say no, but.
Okay, really? Where did Jack Smith agree to that? Let me see.
Yeah, Jack Smith and his attorneys in court argued this is not
Because you're wrong.
This ain't training camp. It's the gulag. And you gonna have to fight to earn redeployment.
Yes,
source.
the
Give me a
people that
source.
were sitting inside the court
Give me a source.
tweeting and coming out. I just told you this source. Harry, if you want to go look it up, you can. If you You
No,
don't
no,
even
no,
want to
don't
admit
just say
the
go look
basic
it up.
truth.
Obviously, the burden of proof is on you. So go show
It's
me the
not
source. Go
because
tell
you
me
just
what
said
it is.
It's the Gulag.
Oh my God, the burden of proof is absolutely.
You
Show
just
you
spoke
something.
what
You
they were
actually have to
talking
back it
about.
up. So what's your source?
And that's all they wrote. A well-earned redeployment, soldier. Stand by.
That's right, Harry.
Claim that Jackson-
Gulag's locked down. Area is clear. 25 remain. Solid work so far. Gas is moving.
Don't meet me when you're wrong. Don't be a bitch. Don't be.
Go look it up on Twitter.
Don't be.
How about instead of trying
If
to
I-
hunt you? No. Instead of trying to hunt you,
I'll text I'll text him.
We'll give him like 15 more seconds.
I'm calm.
No, he's not cool. All right, now we're
Calm.
good. So go find me
I've
the
been
source.
calm this whole time.
Go find me the source.
Harry, you won't even admit who he was talking to.
It doesn't
Lying
matter who
about
he's
that.
talking to because we were talking about
does.
intent.
You
We
said
were
he
talking about
wasn't
intent.
talking to the
Unless,
author of
wait,
Marshmallow's
Charlene,
book.
thank you for the 1 month sub.
And then you
Unless
said he was.
the
So
only
which is
time,
it?
the only time the person didn't matter who he was talking to, that person had a security. Many of those people.
Who
That's
was he
why. That's
talking
the
to?
only time we were but it doesn't matter. So go find. Go find me. Go find me. No. Buddy. You can't
Who was he talking
make a
to?
claim and then go tell me to look it up.
25 remain. It's a valiant effort. Keep your head up. Return to base for debrief.
I'll post Harry's log.
You can retract it if you want. But if you're not going to be able to prove your claim, like I pulled up a source for you earlier, right? Okay, I pulled up a source for you earlier. So if you can't do the same,
Log.
you can't do the source.
I'll wait till you stop muting me.
Okay, so this guy's just gonna leave now. Because if he won't find me a source for this, I mean, it's just remarkable. So again, I just want to reiterate that he acknowledged that intent has to be proved to prove someone that's guilty in a classified document case. Thank you, Matcha, for subscribing for the first time. I appreciate you. Mwah. He acknowledged that intent has to be proved, right? And we talked about Donald Trump being on audio admitting to having a classified document. And then he's like, well, who is he talking to? Like, it doesn't matter unless that person does not or does have a security clearance. As people do not, it doesn't matter. And then he tried to make this BS claim about Jack Smith. I mean, whatever, bro. you can't do anything for him at that point. That's just a guy. You know what I mean? What a character. You ask him for a source, and he resorts back to what was he talking about? He was like asking me like who he was talking to. Come on, yeah, his literal source was "Trust me, bro." Come on, bruh. You can't go trust me, source. You can't go trust me, bro. As a source. Oh yeah, no, actually, you're right, Isaiah. He said Twitter. He's like, go look it up on Twitter. All right, bro. Jacket Piper's mom with the glowing jellyfish. I appreciate you. Yeah, go look it up on Twitter. It's Maga's favorite source. Go look it up on Twitter. Guest took the L. I agree. Guest took the L. Anyway, yes, yeah, Twitter from the guy with a master degree. Yeah, that's right. He was like, go look it up. Go find it on Twitter. Make sure to double tap the screen. We're not almost at 500,000 likes. That was like me misreading the numbers. Make sure to double tap the screen. Let's try to get to 500,000 likes. And spam the shares. Let's try to get to 500 shares. And of course, drop a follow if you haven't already. What are we at? We are at 10 followers away from 300 for the night. So make sure to drop a follow if you haven't done so already.
We're headed to the war zone. Get geared up and stand by. Enemy soldier incoming.
Yeah, thank you, Abby, and Gorilla for the gift. Look at that. It's the most credible source. Exactly. Yo, Jen with the 30 gift subs. Oh my god. Yo, Jen, I appreciate you. Fire, you're not wearing green. It's not St. Patrick's Day.
Hello?
Please, somebody's go.
Hey, what you doing?
Hey, bro. I am just here playing video games at the house. Yeah. What about you?
Okay, well,
All right.
How about you?
driving back.
Have you been awake this whole all today since church?
Oh, yeah.
Oh
I did
no
take a nap
way.
today.
Yeah, what's up, man?
Oh god. Okay, yeah. I was like, holy fuck. You have to have taken a nap probably.
Yeah, I did.
Well, how do you feel?
I'm pretty good.
Yeah. Are you gonna go home and go right to sleep?
Probably.
All right.
Why, what are you doing?
Oh, I'm playing. I'm playing. I'm playing Modern Warfare again.
Oh,
Trying to get back and get all the camos for my guns. And I was into this game. God, I got into this game for like a couple of days before I just had to say like, fuck. Shit, I'm talking loud.
well, that might.
Defraud. Let's just say like Trump loses all his.
Do what?
And the loan that Trump is meant to be paying back doesn't get paid back.
Sorry, what?
You there?
Yeah, I can hear you. What'd you say?
Because it's collateral.
I
Or,
might play a little bit when I get home.
So the bank is not actually.
oh yeah, if you're down, I'd be totally down. I've been playing a little bit of the longer games, but the kind where you like can respawn and stuff like that,
Yeah.
and it's so fun. So, but I have been like still looking for jobs, and I still have I told you about how I met with my boss and how he actually said, yeah, I'll ask 2 people and I'll see if they can approve a temporary position. And that would mean that I would live, and that would go back to, I would go to live in Tulsa and start living in Tulsa long term. Or, I mean, like for more than a couple months, which I don't know why I would go for a couple months. Yeah.
I'm not your therapist.
Well, that
No, I
sounds.
don't believe. I have no evidence to
So
believe.
why is it that
Once I'm presented with evidence,
non-moving out to
I'm
a
not
nursing
gonna
home means that you have to
be like, oh, I
get
think
your own place?
No, if
Well, because she, at her house right now, see, we've only paid for the rest of April, so we have all of this furniture that she has that we have to do something with, and so we're thinking like there's a little side table that she has, like a kitchen table that would go really cool in any kind of apartment that I got, and just like whatever. I mean, there's so much stuff. So bottom line is that like I don't know. My mom was just like, we have all of this stuff that we're gonna need to move somewhere, and we don't have room for it here. I mean, if we have to, Lulu has a storage unit, and I'm like, wait, why don't we just put it all in Lulu's storage unit right now? And that's like because Lulu is like not too involved in this, and like
Yeah.
it seems like it's like me and my mom have to make more concessions and be like, okay, well now that means that we have to find a place in the next month. Okay, you mean also find the money for a down payment and for the security deposit and for like all of this stuff? Like I don't have that money. I made a budget and I'm sticking to this budget, and the budget's based off of how much I'm making at Griffin right now part time. So
Yeah.
if I can actually find a place, the only thing that my mom needs to help me with is what do you call? She would only need to help me with like the initial deposit, because it may be like the deposit is like first and last month's rent, which would be like,
Yeah.
if the places I'm looking at would be like around $800 in rent a month, which is like not, we're finding places that are not terrible. In fact, we even found like this cool little apartment that's like not in a bad place and all this. But anyways,
Yeah.
so I just don't have that money right now. Like I have to save up for it over like a couple payment periods, and it's like, okay, I am gonna have to start saving. I looked back on all my payments and get this, Dad, I have about $300 in like monthly charges, like GitHub and ChatGPT, and I also like that's also including my health insurance, like which is like $70 or whatever. That's just stuff that's not utilities like electric or internet or anything. And so I spent about $300 in that a month. I make about $2,000 a month. So the rest goes to DoorDash, because I DoorDash like every other night. I used to, at least, but I'm done with that. because I was like, oh my god, I'm spending like $1,500 a month on just extra crap like that.
Engagements.
Plus,
Yeah.
like things that I need to, like there's been a like at the Denver airport, I spent like $200 literally just getting food at separate times, and because I had to spend like 4 hours there, and it's like really expensive, and I'm like, oh my god, okay, $70 here for like a pizza at what do you call Wolfgang's or Wolfgang Puck. So yeah,
Oh yeah.
I know. Well, dude, I don't know, man. I like get into that mode where I'm like, I feel like I can just flaunt all of this, and it's because I don't have a place. I don't have to pay rent. I don't have to save for anything, but I do have to start now because finally the fire has been placed under me, so I'm getting started saving. Yeah. So you're on your way back from Santa Fe or Los Rios?
Yeah.
I think that it is. It's not that it's not hard, but there's just not enough evidence.
Yeah,
to do
I'm
so.
coming back.
But there's enough evidence.
Yeah. What'd you do?
Yeah.
But we're not.
I had a
charging
gig
you
up
for
there.
insider trading. We're charging you
That
for
was
trying
it Los Rios?
or election interference in
It
2016.
was in
Stealing classified documents.
I'm saying insider trading though. I'm saying, like
Madrid.
Madrid. Wow.
Madrid.
Let's look into
Prove
it.
Madrid. Sweet. Well, dude,
Madrid.
these little uni pros are like lifesavers. They're so much better than the UCAN unis in my opinion. Not mini pro, sorry, whatever it's called, Kodo.
You think that like Jeff
Those little tiny vape pens that we both got.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are just amazing, man. Oh man, I don't know where mine are. I gotta find them.
Yeah.
Yeah. But dude, okay, so first of all, so that's been happening, and I'm still applying for jobs, and I'm still on that hunt. But I told myself, I'll work 8 hours a day, and I have been working, like, as soon as I wake up until 8 hours from then, I don't play video games, right? But then I play video games like all night.
and the Democrats
So,
are fighting for the people who are the
That's been my whole thing. So it has been getting better,
union president.
I just have to keep up that 8-hour workday lifestyle.
A fair wage, and they're being treated correctly. So
But
if you are of the view that these
anyways, so yeah, I've been doing that, and like I've been doing things like having ChatGPT help me send messages to LinkedIn, contacts. Like one would be like, this person posted about the job that I actually applied for a couple weeks ago. He posted like this big message that was like, we're really looking for someone talented that would be a good database administrator. I'm like, cha-ching, and then I send her a good message. She hasn't replied to it, but
We talked about that yesterday. That's not
so
true.
yeah.
Immigrants.
Well, if that's not true, then I mean, I guess
Um,
that's what I was pissed off about. So.
I'm just not hearing any. Yeah, and I need to start calling people. That's the next step. Is I have to start calling them. Can you hear me?
I don't support all these people coming
Yeah.
in because there's
So,
no plan. We talked about this
the
last time.
problem
There's no
is
plan for
that,
all these
How
people.
did we get here?
Well, I've started a system. It's not a problem. It's actually good. I've started messaging everybody, and I keep everybody on a notepad, numbered and like written down. And then I have next to it, I have spaces. I have like 3 spaces
Look, there are
next to each job I apply for. And the first space is C, and it stands for call. The second space is M, it stands for message. And then the third space is S, which is for seen, which means they've like seen it. So it's like a way to track your contacts. It's a way to track your network essentially. Like, say, okay, I have. Well, you're supposed to call first, but I message first. You can do it either way, but I message the people. And since I haven't heard from anybody, I'm just gonna call and be like, hey, I sent an application in. I just want to make sure that you guys received it, and just do that. I mean, that's something my mom told me that I should do. So,
gotta get out.
Yeah.
Sorry. Calling.
I mean, that kind of sounds extra, though. I don't know. What do you think? Do you think it sounds like I wouldn't want to do that for every job? Like, try to call them in person and like be like, hey,
I don't know.
Yeah, we don't do that here.
I applied for your job.
God,
Oh,
man.
you really
What
want?
the hell is going on tonight? We have a guy who thinks that Twitter is a
Yeah,
rival.
that's fair. I could be interested in any of the jobs that I applied for.
Oh my God. Yeah, thank you for the rose. I appreciate all the gifts. I appreciate all the.
I
support.
well,
let's
I mean,
almost hit
yeah.
500,000
Well,
likes this time. Right.
not all of them. Like I applied for this like
Screen.
design job today that was like not great.
Yeah, followers wise.
I mean, it looked like great. It was like great pay. It was like lead visual designer for the marketing team of this law firm. I mean, this like insurance firm.
What did I say? We are 71. Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, that's gonna be really fun.
So.
Not.
If you haven't already, let's try to.
They're just gonna make me in charge of making basically
By what I just heard.
a whole graphic set for their whole team, which I could do. But it's like,
If you're MAGA, let me know in the chat.
and that's also cool. It's like I could do that. So I'm applying for it, and I'm like, now I'm getting interested in it again. Like, oh, I could just easily make a whole graphics package for a company now. That's so cool that I can do that now from Griffin Media. I mean, that job helped me realize how to do that in the industry
What was that guy's name? Whatever the.
for like a logo and a brand and all that.
like,
Anyways,
Actually talk about the case.
the only problem is that I can't do that in Tulsa because get this, if I try to do it independently in Tulsa, chances are the companies I go for are gonna instead go for Griffin's
This is the guy.
packaging deal because it's cheaper and it basically all it is
What's up, man?
Can you hear me?
Griffin Media's advertising packages exploit the digital artists. They exploit them to make them work minimum wage essentially in order to not allow them to have their own freelance opportunities, right?
I know someone might have asked.
So it's like a direct, like, you know, they're specifically allowing this, and it's funny because like David and Charles, David more so than Charles has his own
Yeah.
Do you think
um
that kind of
freelance
with those?
I mean David Strozier is a freelancer digital graphic artist for like, you know, brands and stuff.
She is making a claim, right? She's
He's his own LLC and all that. And even then, he's like, this does not give me basically anything because all the people I would have normally are going straight to Griffin, and I am still getting money off of that. So it's kind of like I have, you know, he's like he has like two hands and two like pockets, you know.
I don't know, like some.
But it's, you know, it's just not exactly something that is supporting local businesses like an Oklahoma's own company should.
Gonna get him.
And when you think about it, the graphics are basically the whole image of the whole company. It's like when you have like a company that doesn't have any spokesperson instead of like, I mean, they have the news
officials like a DA
people, you know, the anchors.
or an attorney general doesn't have to.
But
be
since the anchors are like,
paid for these positions,
you know,
they make, like,
the
their
only timeless image that you have is like the graphics
Hey,
team.
I'm
And it's
gonna
like,
be a DA and I'm not gonna
you know,
prosecute
it's really important that you treat them right because
because
they will continue to make
before me have done a bad job.
literally make you official. It's literally just like an official stamp that you give to a company, you know?
I believe that they'll follow the law or
But-
you know, apply the law as they see
Yeah.
fit.
So it's like, that's why I'm like, also like, I don't want to work there forever because
Like, yeah, you know,
even if they give me a full-time job, which get this, everybody knows about, and it sucks because the other thing is like, I'm at home, and I'm honestly like, sometimes I'm not like as reliable as I would be if I was just like focused here in Tulsa, just, you know, doing my thing. And I feel like sometimes I've like dropped the ball like on a request, maybe like, you know, once or like twice a week, or maybe like once a week. Not like drop the ball, but it would be like I'd miss it, and then someone else has to do it for me, and it's been like 20 minutes, and I'm known as the gopher, so it's like my job to like keep an eye on those like last minute request things. So that has happened like twice, and I hate that because it's like now that everyone knows that I could be a full-time employee for you know, temporary time. And honestly, in the end of things, it's like I wouldn't mind working for Griffin until I pay off my student debt, or my, you know, student debt.
President of the United States.
And then I get to move anywhere, and I get to look for any job. Like that's the,
presidency when
I would be okay working for Griffin for that long.
Oh, I see. his
I don't know.
folks-
I had some good graphics, but get this. My boss did not. You know that Veterans Day graphic I sent you?
leading up to the election was from November to January.
My boss didn't like it, and he said it was like. He said it was too. He said it gave the message that
Georgia started investigating.
we were saying veterans go to war, like we were saying like veterans go kill people, because it was like the whole. It was like, the planes were going in on the text,
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like,
And he said, I don't like this. I want to see something else. And then then I made the mistake of saying,
kind of support.
okay, well look at this. Here's it without the planes, which I thought was like, okay, a great graphic. Still without it. And then he said, I want to see some radically different designs.
Decided it's
I just don't see this as aligning to our brand well.
They haven't given a set claim nationally
Yeah.
where they stand.
So those are the words he used, and I was like, well.
And if you look at
Well, now I have writer's block. I mean, like, I have like creative block.
like it's not like
Um,
something like that. Oh wow,
yeah.
that's great. At least that's the percent.
And the good thing is I don't. When is Veterans Day? That's like a while away, right?
Just conceptually, like when
Yeah, Veterans Day is November 11th.
claim for asylum, let's say, and we process them. Do you think
Sorry, I'm just realizing how loud I am. My parents are asleep
into the
in
U.S.
the other room.
come back to the court date, or should they
But yeah, I'm just like,
how do you kind of
I disagree with
Greg wanted me to do all of these
just was putting people back into the same bad situation.
designs,
I don't
like
see
all at the beginning of the year, because he knew that we were about to.
a job.
Like, he knew that I was looking for another job, so he wanted me to get all of these designs done. And so, usually the design, like, I have a while to do the Veterans Day design, but he wants me to do it like sooner. But get this, I'm thinking now that it's on the table that I could be here for a long time, then I can kind of procrastinate a little bit more. Oh, I mean, like,
Yeah, I mean, like
I do
like,
need to get back and like do a design.
and a couple
It's just,
like undocumented.
yeah.
I mean, they're cool. I like them. You know what I mean? Like I don't want them.
Yeah. So yeah, that's why it's that.
Contributing, and to be honest, they're working.
So, what's up? What's been going on with you though?
To really work. But like kind of like in certain like me, a lot of this is probably like PR. But like
Yeah?
the road
Well,
that-
you did the church video, obviously. That took a while, right?
Hotel, from what I have seen, it's all.
Sorry, I called you yesterday and I thought it was Sunday, and I was like, okay, he's gonna be like, if he's not doing a gig, he's gonna be like at home. So.
No, so the only reason that my folks were put up in hotels.
But yeah, I forgot.
Shelters.
That was that's Sunday.
Because obviously New York has to deal with their own
Mhm.
homeless people, and folks like that in homeless shelters as well.
Yeah.
But no, like this whole like PR thing that people are getting. A lot of these folks are sleeping on the street, right? A lot of these.
Did you take the trailer?
Very rare
Did you take the
circumstances,
camper back to
hotel,
Albuquerque?
certain circumstances. So. No, it's not true. It's like undocumented
For the fan?
migrants in this country are treated like garbage. They're treated like garbage, and Republicans
For the
make it
most
even
part,
worse when they're like,
With like the lid of the fan?
Worse when they're like, oh, they're hurting the country. They're doing this, or as Trump would say, they're poisoning the blood of the country, or they're not even people.
Oh, okay. Are you planning on doing that?
I mean, I think like a lot of things. Like, I mean, obviously, like I don't know every single thing. But, like at the same time, like I think to be fair, both sides they'll take what Biden says or Trump says. Like they'll just take a little phrase, and then they'll just kind of about how this is. Like, oh my goodness, look what Trump said. And like they'll take a phrase, but they'll forget the whole, the whole line. And they do the same thing with Biden too. And it's like, I think for me with like immigration, like we do need immigration reform. Like this has been an issue for, decades. You know what I mean? Like it hasn't been something where we've been able to effectively, process, screen people.
Really?
I mean,
The exact kind of aluminum thing that like, are you gonna like drill a hole for the little pin?
And even just like with the numbers, I think.
Oh shoot, okay.
Patterns, at least
Are they? Is it the exact same size? Like it'll fit exactly?
Is 3 years than they were under Trump and Obama. I'm not sure if that's correct, but it does seem like.
Are you gonna not pay for the $1,500 one or whatever?
Less like.
Yeah, I mean, so there's more.
Or how much was it? Like $125? Not that much.
As I was talking about before, there's just mass migration happening around the world right now, primarily like COVID.
Right.
You know, people are just trying to seek new economic opportunities.
Well, I mean, but if it's like, how do you? Would it be like 125 to get it installed, too?
And yeah, more people are coming, but the border's actually more fortified right now than ever before in history.
I mean, like, could you get it installed for? Oh, you could. It's really easy. I'm saying like,
there's more restrictions.
was it like really? It like hooks in somewhere. So like, I feel like there's more than just like drilling 2 holes for the pin. It's like, I feel like, you know, the way it connects up there is a little detailed, like, right?
Than Donald Trump. So, you know, there's just a lot of misinformation around it. But, I mean, yeah, there are more people coming, but it's not necessarily a buy.
Yeah.
Apprehensions at the border doubled.
It may be more.
2019 under Donald Trump.
No, I mean, like, I definitely think it comes
Just because of the way it the way it like allows you to like pick up that roof. It's like that's kind of a unique system. So I would be surprised if it wasn't more than just like a nail going through the metal, you know.
But he also
Or something.
has the ability with executive to secure the
Yeah.
Well, I wouldn't take legal
So-
advice from him, definitely, but I think there's actually the Border Patrol Union, which is not actually the Border Patrol.
Yeah, that should be easy.
Yeah, they did endorse the bill, and they do make claims about Joe Biden, but it's just like, I'm not going to necessarily take my legal advice from the head of the Border Patrol Union, but I will listen to him when it comes to, like, immigration.
Yeah.
Endorsement is proposed, and the Democrats and the Senate Republicans are opposed. So we should sign that into law, but Republicans are currently
Yeah, I think Trump the
Yeah.
I mean, it's all,
I get you.
They painted something over it.
it's like,
Right.
Texture.
I mean, I don't know if he's specific.
Well, but then it would be like if you're paying,
He definitely, I
if you
think,
get down to it,
wants something
all the
like that.
labor that you're having to do and like figuring out and things. It's like, would it be free? I mean, you couldn't get the labor
I mean, I just think it's like
payment if you like took it back to the Albuquerque place. You couldn't get that covered under warranty, could you?
now. Like, why wasn't he trying to do
Oh,
this?
okay.
He has. On his first day in office, he
charged
introduced a
$300 an
legislation
hour,
bill.
though.
It was called the U.S. Citizenship.
Oh, that's crazy. And then it'll take them like 3 hours to like
Right now, Republicans
figure out and like read, you know, a manual.
No, he's
This will start from like page 1, like Homer Simpson.
Republicans just consistently do not want to work with him on it, and it's a shame.
Yeah, I mean, I think like, there
Yeah.
has to be something.
Well,
This has been a problem.
anyways, you want to hear about this this other game that I started playing?
It's been going on for a while. Like,
Alright.
there's definitely waves. I mean,
So it's called Rust. Have you heard of this game, or is anyone? Have you heard that?
you live in New York, so you know the name, but, like,
Okay.
a lot
It's
of
actually there's a release. I mean, you can play it and get it on PS5, as far as I know.
crisis
Um,
have a
so this
reason
game
need
is essentially,
when they come.
imagine if you, either you yourself or you and a couple of other people, however, you know, if it's just me and you or whatever. Imagine if we
As long as there's
could
support, but I think when it gets to the point where hostile
basically join a world where it's essentially this huge wilderness area,
get overwhelmed,
this
schools are starting to get
huge map, detailed map, which has basically a lot of irradiated architecture, basically like big oil rigs and like big machinery, like military grade like tunnels and scientist things. It's essentially kind of like a research military island that you stumble upon, and it's huge. And the entire point is you're allowed to you spawn in on the sand on the beaches of this island. That's how you begin the game, and you have on you just a rock and a little stick that turns into a torch at night, right? And with the rock, all you do is you go over to a tree and you knock on it and you get wood, and you use that wood to create a tool in your crafting mode that lets you place down structures. And the structures can have obviously it starts with the foundation. You can put like a square foundation down or a triangle foundation connecting to the square, or however, you know. And then you put a doorway onto the triangle foundation, and then you can put walls all the way around the entire structure, stairs on the, you know, leading up to the triangle foundation's doorway, all made of wood, and then all of a sudden, like you know,
I mean, I think a
you
lot of that
have this little structure made out of just basically timbleweeds. It's like really basic, and the idea is
if there aren't
that
issues,
you want to create a structure that will house you and your clanmates or your people that are your friends, and all the while, there's like 70 other people
I mean,
on this huge map, 70, 80, however many you want to play with, and they're all doing the same thing, and there's guns involved, and people can go into these like old decrepit airport areas and go into the towers of the airport and actually find it's like random. It's all randomly generated, and it's like but you can find a crate that spawns in there and actually has something that could be like it's called a semi-automatic rifle body. And you take that and you take a spring that comes with it, or you find that somewhere else. And the idea is you go and you find out the recipe on how to make your own gun. You find out the recipe. You also like once you know the recipe, obviously all you need is the parts associated with it. There's ideas of you're in the wilderness as well, so at night you can't see anything except for like a few feet in front of you. Plus, there's also wild animals that can come and will attack you and kill you. And the thing is that if you have enough resources to build what is called it's just a sleeping bag, and you place that sleeping bag down in your little in the hut that you made. If you die, you respawn and you can click on that sleeping hut, or you can click on the sleeping bag and it respawns you in that sleeping bag.
That's an issue.
And it's basically
I don't think that
a fighting game
I don't think
where
that,
you're just like running around but you're also camping. Like the idea is you find a place and you camp. And
I mean, I think
the biggest the craziest thing that is like new is is like revolutionizing like gaming is the fact that these worlds, they're called servers, and these servers start at a certain time and they reset, and then it regenerates a new world, and it regenerates literally new terrain every single time. It's like a randomizer of like where all the different things are. There's like roads and railroads, and it's crazy. They probably use yeah.
and then they're already doing normal percentage.
Oh, okay.
So they have
But okay, cool.
yada, et cetera.
Yeah, love you.
So they pack
Yeah,
it
we'll
all together.
talk
So it's
in a
crazy.
second.
They can better get compromises on that stuff. Like for example, if the Democrats want funding for Ukraine, but the Republicans want funding for the spaghetti monster in the sky, it's unlikely that if they put the bills individually that they're going to get votes to pass it. But if they combine them, then the Democrats will be like, all right, if you vote for Ukraine funding, we'll vote for this, okay? And they'll be like, yeah, okay, so package it in one to bill, and so we don't have to go through this entire process the entire time and then get it passed because there's a compromise there. That's why they do that, though.
Yeah. No, I mean, I get that. Like, I interned for 2 congressmen. One was a Republican, one was a Democrat. And what I've realized is, like, when you talk to people and you have, like, an open mind, you kind of find out you might disagree here and there, but overall, you're kind of on the same page. But, like, the perception in the media is it's like this country's super divided right now. Like, it's super, like I went to Democrat events when I was with the Democrat congressman, and they say Republicans are a threat to democracy. And I'd go to Republican events, and they'd say the same thing about Democrats. And for me, I mean, one of them has to be full of crap. Like they both can't be telling the truth. Like somebody has to be wrong. Like it can't be everybody's a threat to democracy. You know what I mean? So it's like, I think like I remember you said last night, since I've been on these a couple times, it's like you're willing to talk to anybody, and I think that's a good thing because people aren't talking to each other. We're screaming at each other, and most of these issues, I think, especially with our generation, since I know you're 21, I'm 23. It's we're both kind of in the same age group, and it's like I hope with our generation we can somewhat find these common sense compromises that don't that make everyone feel okay that we're doing something all right.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah, no, first of all, I appreciate the kind words, but yeah, like, I think we need more like compromise in government, and that's like one of the main reasons why I'm such a big proponent of the Democrats and Biden. Like, 4 out of the 7 major policies that Biden has passed as president has been with Republican support. He's throughout his entire career, not just as president, has reached out to the other side, trying to get stuff done. And I think that's really important, especially in the way our government's set up. Whereas like Marjorie Taylor Greene and Donald Trump and that kind of MAGA wing of the Republican Party don't do that. And we don't have to like guess whether they do that or not. We've seen Marjorie Taylor Greene in office. We've seen Trump in office. They do not negotiate. They do not reach out to the other side. So I think if you're like of the mind, thank you, Third Rate AI, for the Galaxy. I appreciate you. If you're of the mind that you want compromise back and common sense and like working with the other side, then I would definitely recommend you vote for Joe Biden. And if you're not fully on board with it, I think that's a big positive of him as opposed to Trump.
Yeah, I mean, I just like, to be honest, like I really am not 100% sure. Like I do lean towards Trump, and part of it, it's just kind of like I don't know every, you know what I mean? Like the average person, they don't know every detail to every single thing. Like they hear the news, they hear what's told to them, they're like, it must be true because, Don Lemon told me, or Tucker Carlson, or Rachel Maddow told me. You know what I mean? It's like, and I think all these media companies, there is some deception in when they speak. They're gonna, mix things up. But like, just kind of how I see it is like all the career politicians, like they don't like a lot of people don't like Trump, and like maybe some of that's because of him. Like maybe he kind of pushes people or pisses them off a little bit. But it's like it just seems to me like for some reason everybody's against him. Like the whole system's against him, and it just makes me think, why does a corrupt system hate him so much?
But
You
I
know?
mean, I don't think that system's corrupt, and I don't think like whole systems are against him. I just think that like logical people are against Trump. Like if you are I think that rational, logical Americans are seeing Trump. We can just look at the last day, talk about a bloodbath, talking about how immigrants aren't people. Saying that immigrants are poisoning the blood of the country, citing Mustache Man from World War II and his rhetoric towards opponents. 88 felony charges, sexual abuse, fraud, 2 impeachments. I mean, like this is so bad. He has done so much trash that a lot of people are desensitized to it. So you hear all this stuff, you're like, oh, it's just Donald Trump, but it's not normal. So I don't think like systems are against him. I just think that rational people are against him.
Yeah, there definitely are rational people who don't like Trump. Like, I've met pretty smart people. Like, you're a pretty smart person, and you
Thank you,
obviously, you're
Lenore,
not
for the cheer. Appreciate you.
a Trump supporter. And for me, like, I've also met smart people that do like him and think this stuff is all political. It's just like the case in New York with the real estate thing. Like, he had he was claiming his property was worth this much, and he was overinflating the real estate. And it's like, I get with a REIT, like if he was doing a real estate investment trust and people were investing in that project, like little small people, like bodega owners, people making like 1,000, pay 1,000 into the fund, I get bringing that case in that scenario. But like, these are the big banks we're talking about. Like, these are the same banks that bought themselves out of the 2008 financial crisis because they own the politicians and they got all this money and were able to make sure that they did fine, but your family lost their house. Like, it's just like, for me, when I see like the big banks got hurt, like by Trump, it's like, he did pay the loan back, you know what I mean? Like, and they
Yeah,
did
but
like,
fraud's fraud, buddy. Fraud is
but
fraud.
like, I know it was called fraud, but like, and I've
Fraud.
been reading articles about it, but it's like, what specific thing did he like make was fraud? Like,
He
I know,
submitted
like,
fake financial documents. Like he was asking for a loan based on financial documents that were fraudulent. Thank you, Valerie, for the 2 gift subs. Appreciate you. He was saying like my properties are worth this much. I have this much, et cetera, et cetera. And he was saying like he gave it to the banks and they operated off of that belief that all of this was true. And if you do that, that is fraud. And he did so many, many times, repeatedly over many decades. That's fraud.
so you mean so you're saying like he made like he claimed his building was worth like 500 million, when a normal appraiser would say it's worth like 400 million or
Correct.
something like that.
Absolutely. Uh huh.
But it's like, but like in that case, like I've worked in real estate a little bit, and it's like when you go through a process, like you run numbers, you do comparables. This property's worth this. This is worth this. I think my property's worth this, and obviously, like you like your property, you want to get the most money. So you're gonna say like, oh well, this is worth more, you know. Like, I mean, you're gonna add a little bit to it, but it's
Yeah,
like,
but there's a difference between being like you can list your house on the market for like $500,000 when it's actually worth like $250,000. That's not fraud. If someone
Yeah.
decides to pay that amount of money for your house, that's on them. But when you're going to a bank asking for a loan, that's a different story. You know. Yo, thank you, the third-rate AI for the unicorn. I appreciate you so much, man. Thank you.
yeah, I mean, like, I get like it is a different scenario. I guess like with a house, like you can make a claim, whatever. Like I could say like, but the thing with like the Trump case, it's like, was he just making a claim and showing his comparables of why he believed his property was this much, or like was there something where he was like hiding, you know, information about the interior of the property or something that would
Everything. He would
degrade
lie
it?
about the numbers, lie about the worth, lie about the numbers, lie about the worth, and everything. Everything was fraudulent. But specifically the numbers, though, like or the square footage. As my favorite example is the fact that he claimed that his apartment in New York City, the penthouse, which square footage is very important in New York City, was 30,000 square feet, thus adding like so much value. But in reality, it was just under 11,000 square feet, and 90,000 square feet in New York City could be hundreds of millions of dollars, you know, worth of real estate.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a different. Like, I mean, so you're saying like he was claiming that like his property had like, I don't know, like more square feet than it did, or he would say
Mm-hmm.
like or like if I was doing an appraisal and I told an appraiser, you know, I actually have a pool but I don't, like that difference is a decent amount. But
That's
like,
right.
I mean, the banks, like, wouldn't they like, I mean, these banks, like, they're pretty sophisticated. Like, wouldn't they like send somebody to go like verify this stuff? I mean,
They can or they don't have to, you know. They can or they don't have to.
yeah. I mean, it just
So
seems like to me, like, why wouldn't they just like, you know, verify? Like,
because you know
yeah.
with like high net worth individuals, sometimes the banks don't feel the need because it can take a very 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 long time to go through all these properties and all these financial statements, especially when you're dealing with high net worth individuals and all these assets and appraising this, that, and the other. So when you have someone like Donald Trump, who's a public figure, who's at Forbes, stuff like that, you might just be more inclined, and someone you've worked with, inclined to you know, work with them without, you know, going through the entire process of appraisers and stuff like that. So
Yeah, I mean, they assumed, I mean, like that. I guess that the property was worth like, and but at the end of the day, like they made an assumption. I guess like they did their numbers or stuff. Like they might not send somebody there, but they did their numbers and said, "Well, this property's worth this. We think it's worth this." And then they came back with like a counter argument of like, "Okay, we'll loan you this much money," but then he
yeah.
paid them back, right? I mean, he paid back that loan. The
Yes, he did. Yes.
but like to me, like in that scenario, it's like he paid back the loan to the bank. So it's like, and
Yeah,
for
but
me,
then
like
like
in
think
that
about
case, it's
this.
like, yeah.
Good. Good.
No, I was just saying, like in that case, like he did pay back the bank. They got their money, and like, I mean, even if he did, you know, like, I mean, yeah, with the square feet, like if it's blatantly, like if he was saying like it's 30,000 square feet when
Oh,
it's
come
only
on.
11, like, you know, that's a little, but
Come on up here.
you know, but if he was saying
Listen.
it's like,
Listen. Chat with Matt for a second because I'm gonna go get more water. Matt, how are you, my man?
Good. How you doing, Harry?
I'm good. I can't complain. Glad to see you again. Chat with. Can you guys chat for a second while I go grab more water? Is that okay?
yeah.
Okay,
Yep.
because Matt said this guy's killing me. So I.
Yeah, you're killing me, dude. Listen, I just want to tell you, it doesn't matter like if he paid it back. He paid it back, sure, but he got it on fraudulent terms. And I keep seeing people in the chat with this no victim, no crime. Let me just ask you this. Let's say I go out and drink a case of beer, right? And
Yeah.
I get in my car and I drive 100 miles an hour down the road. I don't hit anybody. I don't get pulled over. I just go home. There's no victim, right? Did I commit a crime? I still committed a crime, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, in that case, I mean, well, technically, like, crime is, you know, found guilty in a court of law. Like, if no police officer pulled you over, writ you a citation, you never got indicted. I
Yeah,
mean,
but what I'm saying is everybody's with
technically, yeah,
no
by the
victim.
books, yeah, it would be, yeah.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is, it's Trump. What he did was he still defrauded the bank. Now I know the bank is not complaining because they got their money back, but what he did was, banks only have a certain amount of money they loan out. So if Trump takes out this big loan, somebody else after him, after this guy, after Trump gets his loan, can go to get a loan, and he will not. This person may not get a loan because Trump has already got a significant amount of money. So there is victims in these cases, no matter if Trump paid it back or not, and it's still defrauding the bank, which you cannot do. Now, he also would give different amounts of money when he would do his taxes to the IRS, what the properties were worth. He would say the properties are worth so much to the bank, and then he would deflate those values when he would do his taxes. So all that is fraud. So I just think there's such a level there of what he's done throughout his life as far as being fraudulent that that's why he's been found liable for fraud. I mean, it's pretty obvious. I don't think he has any case. I mean, I don't. What do you think?
I mean, like with that, like I know with like for instance, like if you have a property for taxes, you want to have the value lower. You know what I mean? So you pay less taxes on the property. Like I mean, I don't know if you own a home or not, but like most people homestead their personal home, so they get a lower tax rate. So it's like if I'm trying to like say my net worth and like brag to people, like obviously I'll say like, oh, this is like I'm going to say this house is the high end value, but like when it comes to taxes, I want to say, oh, well, yeah, it's lower. So like, I mean, with that case, like, I mean, look, I don't think Trump is 100% clean. Like, I don't think anybody at the highest levels of politics is clean.
Trump's not even 20% clean. I mean, when you're talking about Trump, 100%. He's as dirty as they come for as long as they've come. This guy, I can't figure out. I've said to Harry a bunch of times how one person would vote for this man. When you go through his life, this isn't just a man who's been like all of a sudden got corrupt when he started being a politician. He's been corrupt his entire life. I've lived on the East Coast. I'm a little bit older than both you guys. I'm just turned 50. So you guys are youngins. I love that you're into politics. It's great stuff. I got in very young too, but I'm also very much a gambler. I've very much been a long time in the East Coast. I've known this man. I've seen what he's done to people, contractors, all in Atlantic City my whole life. And the man is a con man. He's a rip-off artist. He's a bad guy to his core. And I don't think we should have a guy like that leading the country. I don't think he should be leading a lemonade stand. I don't think you wouldn't allow this man in your home. You wouldn't allow this man around your children, around your grandchildren. This is not a man that should be leading the country. We all got to get behind this. Now, look, I've told Harry already. He has no chance to win. I just want to get this out of the way. I love that Harry does these lives because it brings people talking, but he is not going to win in November. I can promise you 100%. If he wins in November, I will actually come on here and take a beating, or wherever anybody else wants to grab me on a live, I'll sit there and just take a beating, and you can call me anything you want for hours and hours and hours. It's never going to happen. He will never win. He'll never be president again, I promise you. So every Democrat in here that's getting a little bit, look at the polls and this, and look at the people at the rallies, sit back and relax. And remember, Matt told you.
I love when you say this to me because it's so reassuring. Like, your confidence is genuinely reassuring. I get worried.
I've never been more sure about anything in my life. He's not winning.
Well, God help us if he does. But
yeah,
I'm also feeling your optimism a little bit more recently. A little bit more.
Yeah, every day that goes by and every dumb thing he does and says and how he acts, it's just is like I smile more each morning.
Because you know what I think? I think that like for the past couple of years, people haven't been paying as close attention to him because it hasn't really been election season. Your average American's not paying attention to politics. We might, things like that. So now that he's campaigning, that he's the nominee in Biden, I think people are really starting to pay attention more. And you're seeing like this backlash with the bloodbath comment. Like this has gone viral and everybody's freaking out about it.
And if you saw the rally in Ohio when he talked about the bloodbath, people were leaving in the middle of that speech. That speech was so weak, so low energy, and the same nonsense repeating over and over again. It was so boring. I watched this and laughed because he's so out of it. And they want to talk about Biden and dementia and all this stuff. If you watch a full Trump speech, I mean, you almost want to just jump off your roof. It's awful. It's terrible. Who wants to listen to that stuff? It's the same stuff. It's the same. And then he always jumps into the election was rigged. I mean, it's all nonsense and garbage. And by November, it's going to be so sickening. People are going to have enough, and people are starting to tune out. Biden's got so much money to spend. There's going to be so many. He's going to take over the airwaves. By November, this is not going to be a very close race. I'm telling you, it's going to be pretty much exactly like it happened last time, but we're going to get a little bit more in each state, and electoral map's going to be almost exactly the same.
Interesting.
I don't think Biden's clueless. I mean, I think that's a lot of the right wing kind of, I guess, I don't know, like propaganda to say that like, oh, he doesn't even know where he is. Like, I mean,
Well,
obviously the guy knows where he is, but it's
the right wing, they're all over the place. I mean, one day he's a mastermind criminal with Hunter. The next day he's clueless. One day he's going to fall over dead, and then the next day he's jacked up Joe. They don't even know where to go with him. It's like the right wing has been trying so much to paint this guy as either dead, on drugs of the other night on the State of Union, or can't think for himself, and then a criminal foreign mastermind to be able to get Hunter on a board and get all this money in for his entire family. They can't even come up with a narrative for Joe Biden. It's a total mess. The Republican Party's in a mess. They haven't won a real election, MAGA, since 2016. They've been getting blown across the board every time. The polls have been wrong. Roe v. Wade's going to be huge in 2024, just like it's been huge since the Supreme Court overturned it. So Democrats have all the momentum right now. Nobody worry a thing. We're going to take it in November. We're going to take it big.
I did just have one question about the documents thing before I know you guys probably got other people coming on, but like with Trump's documents, like what I think in that scenario, right? Like he was president, he walked out. Like me personally, I think there should be a law where no president has classified documents in their personal residence, because I mean there's so much that can go wrong. Like Bill Clinton, he had some documents in a sock drawer, and Mike Pence had classified documents, and Trump had classified documents, and Biden, he had classified documents. But like in that case, it's like when Biden had those documents, he was like a senator and vice president. Like, I mean, kind of how I see it is like he didn't really have any authority to have those documents, with him in that case. I mean, like, what do you think about that? Like, should he have, did he have authority to have those? Like, I mean, what's your opinion on that?
Well, I mean, Biden didn't have like authority to have them, but in order to prove like a crime, it has to be intentional and willful, and like you knowingly doing it. And the special counsel that investigated Biden found no evidence as such, or at least not enough evidence to prosecute. Whereas with Trump, again, he admitted on audio.
I mean, the thing is, like, with that, like, I read that the special counsel also said that he was charged because he said Biden was a forgetful man.
No.
Too.
What he said was Biden, at a trial, he didn't think he could get a conviction for Biden. So one of the reasons is that Biden at trial would present himself as a well-meaning old man with a fuzzy memory, and that wasn't like a shot at his ability to serve as president. That was saying like, yeah, a lot of these events.
Part. Yeah.
Yeah, well, not only would he play that part, but a lot of these events took place like 10, 20, 30 years ago. So it had nothing to do with his age when he said fuzzy memory. It's just the fact that like if you're 40 and you are being asked to recall something from your 20s, you're probably not going to remember it in perfect, vivid detail,
Yeah, and also in the special counsel, also in the same thing with Biden, in the transcript of that interview, he said, wow, Mr. Biden, you have a photographic memory almost, but he didn't include that in his report, which I thought was odd, and pretty much he should have included that report. If he was going to include the bad stuff about Biden's memory, for him to not include that in a report, I thought was disingenuous also.
Well, yeah, her, I think, operated pretty disingenuously in that report, so.
I agree.
So.
Yeah. I mean, I just like kind of how I see it is like both sides, they'll kind of like defend their own. Like, I mean, like Republicans, they're insistent that there's hard proof on Biden. Like, it's there. We just gotta look. And it's Democrats. They kind of do the same thing with like Republicans, and Republicans will defend them. Like, oh, that's not true. That's misinformation. You made that up. And it's just for me, kind of where I'm at. I'm like, I really don't know what's true. You know, I mean, I just hear a lot of people kind of saying what's true, you know, and I don't really know. Like when I was listening to the Trump second impeachment trial, it's like if you listened with an open mind to both sides, you're like, wow, that's like I was like I try to listen to things with an open mind, and it's like I was like, wow, like when I was listening to why they should impeach Trump, I was like, wow, like that's man, we got to do that. And then when I listen to the Republican side, I'm like, man, this guy, he's being attacked. This is unfair. I feel like both sides, they're so good at the game, and if you have an open mind, you're gonna, you know, be confused, I guess, a little bit. And that's kind of where I'm at with it. It's like I think most people aren't bad people, but I think there's, I guess, you know, a lot of the politicians are sort of actors. You know, they'll put on a show for the big event, and it's just I don't know. It's tough to know what's true if I'm being honest with you. You know, it's
A
I
good
think
rule
it's
of
like
thumb is take whatever Trump says and probably just believe the opposite.
It's a good way. It's a good way of thinking. And Harry, I also notice people in your chat. You know how I know that they are MAGA people when the misspellings of your
Yeah.
Republicans in your chat and the way their sentence structure. The people down there in the chat, lying is not spelled Lieing. It's Lying. Where do you get these people from, Harry? You bring them up. I have no idea what they're talking about, and then you have to mute them just to get your point across. Do you know where these people come from? I would love to. Do you find them and then interview them beforehand and go? I have to bring this
You know,
person up.
as I've said before in my lives, I was like, they got to go back to the caves they crawled from. Go
Like,
back.
Truth Known has come up here. You know, he's eloquent. He speaks very well. There's no way he can vote for Trump when
Yeah.
he's intelligent, can speak this well. You have to vote for Joe Biden. You heard the other people that come up here and talk, and they're MAGA. Do you want to be associated with them? It's impossible that you want to be associated with those people. Come on, man.
Yeah, truth now. And you're too like willing to look at information and like research to be on the MAGA side. There's just no way.
yeah. I mean, for me, like I think there's crazies on like both sides. You know what I mean? Like I mean, they'll like there's a lot of people that'll like scream. Like you guys are very rational, calm, and it's like for me, like I like being around rational, calm people. And even though I'm not gonna agree on every issue with everybody, you know, there's definitely like I just want to, you know, I like calm. I like rational discussions, and I think like I don't know. I mean, with Trump, like I just think like I don't know. He acts like crazy, but like he somehow like controls. I don't know. I'm in a weird mind space. It's like I'm trying to figure it out. Like I guess like with like North Korea when he was saying like we'll have no choice but to destroy North Korea. It's like it was just such a crazy statement that like he just wasn't a typical politician. Like nobody would say that, you know. And it just kind of threw people off to what he was doing. And it's like for me, like the foreign policy thing, it's like I think when he sanctioned Iran, like that was the thing that I was most in favor of because he sanctioned Iran so they didn't have money to fund Hamas, Hezbollah, the Houthis. And it's like I don't know if this is 100% true, but like apparently there was $6 billion in Iranian money that Biden unfroze and it went back to Iran. And it's just things like that make me question like why like that doesn't make sense. Like why would we unfreeze money to the largest state sponsor of terrorism in the world? You know, like I mean, did you hear about that or like is that
Yeah,
true?
well, that was for there were Americans being held in Iran, and we unfroze money that wasn't even American money. It was money it was South Korean money for oil that they purchased a while back, and we unfroze that money so we can get Americans back home. And also, that money was only to be used for humanitarian purposes. Like It was under strict watch, U.S. Treasury watch, in a bank account that was managed and monitored by the United States and Qatar. And if any of that money was being used for a bad purpose, again, the United States Treasury would just cut it off. So yeah, they couldn't use it on weapons, and it was to bring Americans back home.
Yeah, I mean, like, obviously I want to bring Americans home. Like, there has to be it's just like, I mean, I hope it was watched carefully. Like, I mean, you say it is. I hope that's true. I just don't know.
It was
like,
in an American bank account. Like we have full.
it was
watch
held in
over it.
Qatar, though, right? Like, it was in.
So with collaboration with Qatar,
account.
yeah, that's right.
So it's like, I mean, yeah, like I hope they didn't. I mean, it's just like it's just like Iran. It's like I think in the Middle East, like they're kind of funding a lot of these issues. Like they're funding a lot of these groups that are going against our interests. They're funding Hamas. Like these are. I just don't think any money should be unfrozen to them. Like at the end of the day, like I don't know all the technical details because like I'm not sitting in the Oval Office with like Joe Biden. Like, hey, like why are we make this make sense? You know what I mean? But it's just like I don't know. It's like the Ukraine war too. It's like at the Minsk Accords, we made a pact that we wouldn't expand, NATO wouldn't expand into Ukraine. And it's like we were talking about having Ukraine join NATO. And I think what Putin has done is horrifying what he's done in Ukraine. I mean, he is not, I mean, it's horrifying what he's done, but I almost feel like we almost egged that war on by violating the Minsk Accords in that process. Like, I mean, what do you think about like the Ukraine like situation, or like, I mean, was there things that we did that kind of like escalated that, or like what do you think?
No, this is entirely on Putin. He's the one launching an illegal invasion. He's the one killing innocent people.
Yeah, no, for sure.
And the United States and Ukraine didn't do anything to egg them on. Putin will claim, oh, it was like NATO expansion, oh, it was this or that. That's all crap. He's been wanting to go after Ukraine for a while now. He started in 2014 with Crimea and the Donbass region and this whole thing, right? But no, it's solely on Putin, and any of these like Republicans that try to tell you it's not are quite literally spreading Russian propaganda that Putin wants them to spread.
Yeah, it's so important that we protect Ukraine. And with the next administration, I mean, it'd be so scary for what they would do, because if we allow Russia to do this, it's going to just go right into Poland and God knows what else. And it's I don't think it could be expressed how important this is that we continue to support Ukraine. If we don't, it's just going to get so much worse. We got to fund them. We got to continue to fight against Putin, or I don't know where this ends up, but not in a good place for sure.
Yeah, I think we got to try to find we do have to try to find an end to this war though, because like I think like long term, I mean, Russia has taken many casualties. I think they've lost hundreds of thousands of ground troops in this war. Like they've been hit. Like Ukraine's fought pretty hard, and it's like, but I think at a certain point, like end of the day, Russia, they have more people. So if this becomes a war of attrition, eventually they're gonna take the country, and it's like I think now especially like we have to try to make a deal where like. I mean, you gotta give him something, Putin something, and just kind of enforce that. I mean, that's the thing. It's just like I'm not in the Oval Office. Like it's complicated. Like all I know is what I hear on the news, and it's like, how do you know that's true? And it's just like when Trump was on CNN and he was saying like, I just want people to stop dying.
Oh God. Yeah, I mean, we all want people to stop dying, but when we're like trying to talk about complex foreign policy and he goes, yeah, I just want people to stop dying, we're like, yes, thank you, Mr. Manchild, for pointing out the obvious, that we all want people to stop dying. It's how do we best make it that people stop dying? How do we preserve lasting peace? Like, it's so frustrating when Trump says like a very basic statement like that, and people are like, hell yeah, as if Joe Biden is not wanting people to stop die. I mean,
yeah, it's only because Trump never has a plan. He never has a plan on anything. He never had an infrastructure plan. He never had a healthcare plan. He never has a plan for anything. He just makes some stupid comment on the fly, and of course, his general base will flock to it and just cheer or make up a shirt or whatever because he never has a plan. It's just words. And Biden has actual plans to do things and tries to get them implemented, but Trump never has a plan. He, on any issue that you talk to him about, he never has a plan. It's always words to get cheers or slogans, but never actually any actions. It's always been that way with everything in his life.
Yeah.
Like with the Ukraine, like I mean, I don't know. I mean, has Biden set a specific plan that he has to end this war? I mean, is there a plan, or is it just keep funneling money into Ukraine and hope Putin stops attacking?
Oh, I mean, for the record, like we have said to Putin, like we will negotiate an end to this war. Biden has been like, yeah, well, we want this war to end, but they can't just take Ukrainian land. So our position is that Russia cannot take any Ukrainian land, and then we can move forward with peace. But as long as Russia is still bombing innocent Ukrainians, there's going to be no negotiation.
But how are they gonna like? I mean, you got to see from Russia's perspective. Like, I don't agree with it, but from their perspective, it's like they need something. Like, if we're just gonna say we're not gonna give you an inch of land, I mean,
Yeah, no,
like,
I disagree. I don't think that if we were in World War II, we'd have to say like, well, you got to see it from Germany's perspective, right? Just like I don't have to see it from Putin's perspective.
Russia also has the most nuclear weapons out of any country in the world.
Yeah, and many of them are defunct.
But still, I mean, they have enough to destroy the planet that work.
So do we. I mean, every country has enough to destroy the planet, or at least these modern militaries do. But yeah, I don't. If they want to go about bombing like nuclear bombs in Ukraine, then that's going to turn very very poorly for them and the entire world. I don't think they're going to go there.
Yeah, it's just the thing. Like for me, like I don't think Putin's a good guy, but I think the people around him, like I fear like the people around him are much more radical, and they're not going to hesitate to use nukes. Where like Putin, yeah, he's not a good dude, but he at least knows that that'll like we got to try not to do that, And it's just like I feel like this war has to try to be ended sooner than later. Like I mean, under like Biden, I hope like he's president now. I mean, I he's guaranteed president at least for another 9 months. Like I hope he does something to end this war as soon as possible because this could spiral really badly, and I think it has to.
Yeah, and that's why we shouldn't put a reality TV star at the helm of the strongest country in the world. We should have people who are experienced statesmen, people who have experience in politics and leadership, and not somebody who is firing people on The Apprentice like 30 years ago. It is complex, so why would we put this guy in there? He's not a statesman.
Yep.
Yeah, no, he's not. I mean, he's not a traditional, politician. I think initially that's what a lot of people liked, that he wasn't a normal, politician who, like, at least you would, you might not agree with what he said, but like he meant it, And I think with like a lot of politicians, it's like you don't really know where they stand on the issue, I mean, for me, like, I mean, I'm still trying to. I think everybody's on like a journey of truth, trying to figure out what the real truth is, because yeah, it's just like, yeah, it's just a tough spot. But I think like for me, it's like, end of the day, we're all humans. Like we're all on the same side. It's like, we've all been through a bunch of, tough stuff. I mean, even like, Biden, like look what he's been through in his life. I mean, my goodness. Yeah. I mean, that's horrifying. I mean, Trump, he lost a brother to alcoholism too. And I mean, that the thing with like Don Jr., he actually flew coach one time and I actually sat next to him. And
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, that's a tough break.
That's a tough flight.
It was weird. It was weird though, because it's like I heard all these things about him, and it's like he honestly felt like he didn't want to, talk, because I mean, anybody in that high political spot or connected to somebody, I mean, it's dangerous moving in public, and it's like I don't know what it is. I just didn't feel an evil vibe from him, like.
You don't for most con men,
Most
con men will make you feel all good.
That is true.
Most con men will make you feel all good. So anyway, listen, man, I know some people want to come up, so I'm going to drop you down if that's okay. I appreciate you coming up. We talked for a while. You're always welcome back. And I appreciate the conversation, man. All right.
No, I appreciate it, Harry. Thank you.
All right, man. Appreciate it. You have a good rest of your night, okay?
All right. Bye-bye.
All right, Harry, I'll let you get your other guys up here. I don't want to take all your time. I appreciate it. I have one comment. There's a guy, Corbin, in your thing that was, he said I was lying about the economy that Trump had. Obama gave it to Trump and Trump made it so great. First of all, Corbin spelled lying correctly, which is odd for this group, but I will say Trump did not do anything with the economy when Obama gave it to him. He just went off of Obama's economy for 2 years and then crashed it with COVID, and he handed Joe Biden maybe the worst economy we ever had. So what we have, 10% unemployment when he gave it to Biden. What else did we have? GDP was crashing, gave it no jobs, he
Poverty.
created no jobs.
Yeah.
I don't know what that guy was talking about this great Trump economy. It was horrible.
Well, do you want to talk to him? He's here. I can bring him
Corbin.
up.
Yeah, bring him up. Let's see what Corbin has.
This was the guy I was going to bring up next because he
That's
keeps saying
perfect.
like, "Oh, I wouldn't debate him because I'm going to lose."
Oh, let's hear what he's got to say, Corbin. The floor is
What's up,
all yours.
Corbin?
Hey guys, can you hear me?
Yes.
Thank you for accepting me. Yeah, that guy that was on there, he got a lot of time. He brought up a few points, but it seemed like every time he was like, "Well, I think."
Don't talk about him. Just talk about your own self.
I will, but I had something to say. I was just gonna say, thanks for accepting me. Anyways, I was just gonna start it off by I did notice you're respectful in these debates. Maybe it was just that guy, but I can tell you let people talk. That is new for a lot of people on TikTok that do these lives, so that's cool. No, I just brought up the Obama thing, Matt, because you were saying that Trump says he has all these plans to do stuff. He's all talk, never does it. And like, I saw a video where Obama in 2015, like in November, right after Trump won the election, he was
Thank
like,
you, DMC Neil.
he was like, Trump says he's going to fix the economy. How is he going to do it? Like, the economy's shit. Like, Obama was like, I've tried everything. He's, there's no way. It's all talk. And then, like, what do you know? CNN's like, record-breaking unemployment in over 50 years. Like, even record low black unemployment over 50 years. Like, and for you to say that he inherited a terrible economy, it's funny that Biden inherited a terrible economy. It's like, that was the best economy over 50 years. Obviously, he inherited it bad because of COVID.
Oh, okay.
But
well, yeah, COVID.
He said it was COVID. And then what's funny is Biden's like, oh, it's not my fault that the economy's bad or that gas prices are bad. But now he's like tweeting, oh, you better thank me. I made gas prices go up. It's like, wait, I thought you said president doesn't have control over gas prices. You can't have both,
Well, you guys blamed him for the gas prices that are now pretty good, actually. I was talking about when Trump came in, the economy was pretty good. When Trump came in 2015, he just continued what Obama was doing. He didn't really make any policies to change anything. And then COVID hit. Trump failed miserably, as he does at everything he does, and everything went to shit. So what did he do to make the economy better? I don't know what.
Why did everything go to shit? Like, we had record high, stock prices. We had record high, like you said, GDP. What do you think went to shit?
We have record high stock prices now. Is what we have. Record high now.
So you said it was COVID. Who pushed the COVID lockdowns? The left, right? There's even talk show hosts saying, I almost wish that they would lock things down just so we can, because it conveniently happened right before the election. He's like, Bill Mayer or whatever his name is. He's like, I almost wish things would crash just so we can destroy Trump's amazing economy, because that's the only thing he has in these debates, talking about how well his economy is. Well, they got what they wanted.
This is such a bad point. I mean, if you don't mind me chiming in, I apologize. It is such a bad point because it's like Trump's bad response led to lockdowns. Like, we wouldn't have needed all of these different measures if Trump would have just gotten off his ass and did something about COVID instead of saying it's going to go away by Easter. He denied its existence, pretended it didn't matter, gave himself a 10 out of 10 in response to a question asking how well he's done. He just did nothing to actually address the pandemic. So when COVID is running wild and killing thousands of Americans per day, and we're having like 3 9/11s in one day in terms of fatalities, then yeah, we're going to need to have some stricter measures put into place to stop the spread. such as schools closing down or a restriction on how many people can be in one room, whatever it might be. That doesn't exist, but whatever it might be. So that's why. So if Trump just wouldn't have been an idiot, we wouldn't have been in that position, but he was.
Well, he was also taking, wishy-washy advice from Fauci, who was saying that there's no. Sorry, were you done?
No, I'm not going down this bullshit route of like Fauci was wrong.
All I was
Fauci
saying
was right.
Fauci, you can look up word for word verbatim videos of him saying, natural immunity is better than synthetic immunity every time. We only need people to get 50-60% vaccinated, and then they brought it up to 95%. A lot of it is shady.
Wait, what does 50/60% vaccinated mean?
That's what Fauci was saying. Sorry, not vaccinated. Immunization rate. So you're saying if 50
For
to
herd
60%
immunity,
of
yeah.
people either get vaccinated or get natural immunity, we can open back up. But
yeah,
he
for
was
herd
saying,
immunity.
like Trump, it is his fault from the terrible economy. It's like, I strongly believe that, since the left was pushing it so much, they honestly would have had the lockdown longer than what he had. And also, like, how do you, with that argument you had, like, I do see where you're coming from there, but then how do you explain, how well DeSantis did with his state? They
didn't.
really locked down. They had much less percentages of deaths. He brought that up in that debate with the California governor. They, kept kids in school.
Wait, where did you get that they had a lesser percentage of deaths? Like there've been countless studies out of Florida that their excess deaths were extremely high
Compared
because
to
they didn't
California?
socially, huh? We're not talking about in comparison to a state, but again, like as a percentage of population, yeah, Florida had a higher rate. Yeah, it was still like garbage because they didn't like take care. They didn't follow the science. They didn't follow that masks work, social distance works. In the height of a pandemic, maybe you don't go to the beach. Maybe you don't like gather with your friends indoors.
Yeah, Florida was
I
really,
think the beach
really
thing
bad.
was crazy. I was in Huntington during that, and then like them closing the beach, like when you have, you're outdoors. That was a little too extreme.
We didn't know enough.
I think most
then.
lockdown measures were too
We didn't know enough about how infectious it was. Remember, like China didn't really let folks investigate it early, so we didn't know how infectious it was when it got to the United States. So, but Trump was getting briefings, like classified briefings on it, and he admitted in private to Bob Woodward, who's an author, that it was very infectious and deadly, and it spreads through the air and it kills people. But publicly, he was downplaying it, saying it's no big deal. And then, nurses were wearing their gowns for 24 hours straight, and there was not enough ventilators, and freezer trucks had to go to hospitals because bodies had to be stored somewhere, and there were too many of them, and Trump was golfing at the same time.
Well, that was also when there was video of CNN posting bodies falling in the street, in real time. That I don't know what virus caused that, but that was a little Hollywood. I was going to screen record this real quick.
I don't know what he's talking about. Bodies falling in the street.
That was like the first week of the lockdowns.
Well, you've been flagged for misinformation. I'm not even lying. You just got flagged for misinformation, so you got to go. Unfortunately, I'm not even look. I'll show you. He got legitimately flagged for misinformation. Let me show you. Corbin Reyes live contained for misinformation. Well, I mean, they're not wrong.
Yeah, that was some misinformation a few times. But I will let you bring somebody else up, Harry. I really appreciate you bringing me up for this amount of time. Really enjoy talking to you. Now I can go to my DMs and see how many people are telling me to go on a live myself. Because every time I come on here with you, I get DMs of Trump people telling me that I'm the worst person to ever live.
Yeah, me and you both, man.
I can imagine you get 1,000 more than I do, but I always appreciate you letting me come up here. But everybody sleep tonight knowing that Trump will never, ever be president again.
I love it, man.
And I appreciate you. Take good care of yourself, bud.
Yeah, likewise, man. Appreciate you. Have a good night.
Thanks, you
Peace.
too.
Yeah. I actually think I'm gonna wrap up the live now. I think I'm gonna go for a drive, listen to some music, just relax, decompress for the rest of the night. Today was like a very stressful day overall. It was just God. So yeah, I think we'll just end it there. We love Matt. Yeah, I'm a fan of Matt as well. He's a really smart guy, really nice guy. But make sure to drop a follow if you haven't already. We're literally 4 followers away from 400 for the night, so make sure to drop a follow. We're not gonna do the usual end of live routine. We're gonna maybe get back to that tomorrow. Just gotta. I thought you were in Manhattan. It's a long story. Well, anyway, I am, but it's a long story. Yo, thank you, Grady, for the money gun. I appreciate all the support with the gifts, the follows, the likes. It's all been so appreciated, and I really appreciate you guys being here. But yeah, make sure to drop a follow. We're like 4 away from 400, so if we could get there, that'd be amazing. But listen, folks, yeah, I just want to, well, I'll sign off here. Folks, I post on every single social media platform. I post on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, Threads, TikTok, all under the username Harry J. Sisson. Make sure to drop a follow here. I also am trying to grow the political Instagram, trying to get to 100K on Instagram. So if you guys go drop a follow over there, that'd mean a lot. And if TikTok gets banned, I'll be posting videos on YouTube. So go follow the YouTube. It's Harry J. Sisson, or you can click the link in my bio. So yeah, follow on all the platforms, and on Twitter, of course, I posted a bunch of tweets today, like so many. So definitely go check that out. And Threads, of course, Harry J. Sisson, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But aside from the self-promo, which, you know, definitely a follow and all, but aside from the self-promo, I just want to say that I really appreciate you guys. I really appreciate you supporting on all the videos, on all the lives, and on Instagrams, on the YouTubes, whatever it might be. Really appreciate you guys showing up for me and supporting me. And whether you watch the live for an hour or 1 minute, or like the live for 1 like or 10,000 likes, I appreciate you so much, and the gifts go a long way. And look, tomorrow is Monday. It's the beginning of the week. Spring break for you. Please enjoy it. If you're not in school and you're working tomorrow, have a great day. Have a great shift. Whatever it might be, you got it. I promise. You're going to do great. And I'm so proud of so many of you. I want you to know that. You're fantastic. You're killing it. You're doing way better than you're giving yourself credit for. So make sure to take care of yourselves, take care of your mental health, see some people you love, tell them you love them, and all that good stuff. Just you're a good person, okay?